Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida and right here in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Make sure you go buy yourself some jewelry to wear to your college football games. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll have JC, we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. He'll give us what he can tell us about the scrimmage of the Mighty Gators on Saturday. Don't forget tonight, if you're locally in Gainesville, or if you want to drive in for the 4th year anniversary of Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, that will be going from like 5 to 9 o'clock. And congratulations to all the folks involved in that to be going strong for 4 years. Coach will be there blowing his whistle and probably doing some trivia, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing what Coach does.
Yeah.
It's exactly what JC does when he goes out on the town. Good morning, JC. You're on the Tight Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. You've been kissing babies and shaking hands and photographs.
I've been everywhere, QB, everywhere. I'm pounding my creatine this morning.
It's bigger, stronger, faster. Getting ready for the season, JC.
That's right. Getting ready for the season. It's under 3 weeks, everybody. Under 3 weeks. And before you know it, it'll be here, and it'll be week 5 already. And so, so far I'm just kind of, only thing I care about when it comes to practice. I know you just mentioned practice, and Scott's going to give us the details, and people love that, and that's good. But the only thing I care about is whether or not these guys are walking off the field healthy. That's it. I think the coaches have everything under control, QB. I mean, we all know what they're doing. They all know what they're doing. They know what timing they're doing it at, and they know that when it's time to do something important, they'll be ready to do it. Let's hope. I just want them walking off the field. I don't want any injuries, man. I'm sick of the injuries. I don't like injuries.
That's all I think you're only hearing about what the Gators, their injuries. You don't hear about the other teams, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if people saw it, but Garrett Nussmeier had like a arthritis or tendonitis or something in his patella tendonitis pop up. He'd had some issues in the past, and the reports were that he tore his ACL.
Oh God!
So Brian Kelly comes out and said, yes, he did not amputate his knee, blah, blah, blah. They're kind of joking about it, but everybody blows things out of proportion. If you do not have a team that doesn't have injuries right now, they're not practicing football.
No, I get it.
They're sitting in the damn meeting room.
I know. But again, all I care about is that these guys are ready.
Right. And then again, it does not matter. You can pretty much look at all the top 25 teams, and probably more than that. If their starting quarterback is not playing, they're probably not going to be as good as they were anticipating to be. Doesn't matter what school, what colors you wear. That's the facts. So Scott, tell us. I'm pretty sure I don't think DJ did anything in the scrimmage.
Right.
Franklin says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, who starts the first game, Warner or Harrison? I don't know the answer to that. Between those two, though, I would go with Harrison Bailey. But I'm not in the meeting rooms. I'm not at practice. I don't. Again, they're the coaches. They're being paid a lot of money. I'm going to go with what they say. On another note, Clint here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane, will Fleetwood ever win a major or chain? Will he ever win a golf tournament? It's a question on U.S. soil.
You almost knew what was going to happen yesterday, and I thought maybe it was going to be his day, but
and I watched the end of that, like the last 9 holes.
Yeah.
Obviously, he hit some bad shots from a PGA Tour standpoint. He missed it for a couple greens, but then his chips just rolled out. He had like 5 and 6 footers.
That's nerves. Those are nerves.
It could be nerves, yeah, but
that's nerves.
My goodness.
He's so
Justin Rose did was phenomenal yesterday.
made every putt, and same with JJ Spawn. What he did was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that guy Spawn is somebody to really pay attention to. He can make clutch putts, man. That guy doesn't. But speaking of clutch putts, that was Justin Rose yesterday. And he almost lost it on the first tee of the first extra hole when he hit it and it almost went in the water. So that could have ended everything right there for him, but he got a break. And at that moment I thought to myself, he's going to win this. He's going to win this because he's getting the best opportunities with his putter, and at some point, if you keep shooting, you're going to make one. And he was giving himself chance after chance after chance with his approach shots in the green, even when they recut the hole. And I thought Justin Rose, I think he's won 13 times or something like that on tour. He's a great player at age 45. QB, think about that. He's only 10 years younger than you, and he's out here winning the PGA first round of the Tour Championship playoffs or whatever.
And still just murdering the golf ball.
He's so good, man. He's really one of the best. And he's going to be on that Ryder Cup team. You can count on that. And so will Fleetwood, and so will JJ Spawn, and they'll be battling each other again in Bethpage. But next week, I think wherever the BMW is, I want to say it's in Boston, but it's something like that.
So, JC, how did we do in our Peachland Dental picks? Did we have anybody make top 10?
Yeah. So I had Cam Young. He finished alone in 5th. He has really turned on his game, man. Love seeing it. And I had Chris Kirk tied for 9th, and you had Oberg tied for 9th, and then you had Straka and M. They tied for 17th. So,
right. So if I would have done what JC does
you would have won
the top 5, top 15, top 10, top 5.
Top 5, top 5, and top 10. I had Rosie top 5 win and Cam Young. I had a lot of bets. I think I actually probably lost money yesterday because I had too many bets out there. I was just going crazy, but I didn't lose a lot. If I lost any at all. But I tell you, Rose was clutch, and Fleetwood, you just got to feel bad for him. QB, while that was going on and while everybody's worried about practice here, again, only thing I care about is if they're walking off the field because they know what they're doing. They'll be ready to go. But the NFL preseason games are underway, and I don't know if you knew this, and you probably didn't, but the overs in these games went 14-2, and the probability of a 50% coin flip flips 14-2 over is only 0.18%. So the chance that this is kind of a random thing doesn't seem very likely. So the over going 14-2. I hope you guys had that if you're degenerate enough to bet on the preseason.
All right, having said that, Josh and Wamama on the Titan of our text line says, QB, here's a trivia question for JC.
Oh, boy.
What college is the only – listen, you got to concentrate here, JC.
Okay, I'm thinking.
What college is the only college to ever have a first-round draft pick in football, baseball, basketball, and hockey all in the same year?
And hockey?
Well, that eliminates a lot of Southern
it takes all
clubs.
those schools out. I don't know. I'll go with Michigan.
That is correct. So your bell doesn't work.
What? Does it?
We don't hear it.
You don't?
At least I don't. All right. So here are those first round draft picks. Great question. Mason Graham.
I got it right.
Well, Michigan had 3 first rounders in football.
Hockey gave
Mason
it
Graham,
away.
Colston, Loveland, and Kenneth Grant. NBA was Danny Wolf. He was a transfer, I will say that. He only played 1 year at Michigan, but he's still a Wolf. NHL, Will Horkoff. And Major League Baseball, Mitch Voigt.
I may have guessed Boston College or Wisconsin, but really when you said hockey, it gave it away almost. And Michigan has that pedigree in hockey. They're very good in hockey. So
Daryl on the Titan More text line wants to know, he's coming back from Maine today. He says, do y'all think the wishbone would work today in college football? Absolutely, it would.
Well, some teams.
Well, the academies still run a version of it.
Air Force.
So does Navy, Army, whatever. Greg says, how about the Jags 70-yard field goal? I saw a highlight of that.
Cam Little.
I will tell you this, though.
He's got a job.
He does. But I can promise you nobody is going to attempt a 60-plus yard field goal unless it's the last play of the half.
That's it. Yep.
They're not going to miss it and give the ball to the other team right there. There's no way in hell.
Right.
No way.
Well, there's two circumstances, like what you just said before the end of the half. And if you're winning, 38-6, and
You're
it's
going
in
to
the
punt
fourth,
it and play defense.
probably. But I mean, this kid has a foot, and now
Yeah.
we know it's he and that kid from Dallas. They have the best or the longest range, I think, in the NFL. And the record is 66 yards by Justin Tucker, who's in a little bit of hot water right now. But he's got the record. If you were wondering who has the record, it's Justin Tucker. So,
Which, to me, the most impressive field goal made, longest field goal record there is Tom Dipsey.
Yeah, the Saints.
Well, I mean, but think about it, JC.
Yeah, he had the
It was
fourth
back
foot.
in what?
Yeah.
He was a straight on kicker.
Yeah.
And
he had a deformed foot. It was a block.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody back in those days could ever do that.
And in those
now
days,
everybody can freaking.
I think in those days the goalpost was in the front of the end zone. So
it's still 63 yards.
It's still 63 yards, but that means he kicked it from his 37.
But I'm just telling you, from the ball
I think
to the shoe to straight on to not being trained correctly, that to me is way more impressive than what anybody does today, in today's world.
I mean, 70 yards. I think about that. That's a damn long way.
Electronics world.
Jacksonville didn't look okay.
We got to read about an electronics world. You need a new TV, JC, and integration design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment. It's summer, folks. Let Electronics World bring the Florida Gators, college football, and the NFL to your living room. Go check them out, electronicsworld.com.
So QB, when the SEC did their scheduling for these 2 years, when they incorporated Texas and Oklahoma, who would you say got the shaft in terms of scheduling, and who got the
The Oklahoma Sooners have been screwed since they've been in the league, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I think the two teams that have gotten screwed with the scheduling are Florida and Mississippi State. But
what are you talking about from
just a difficulty standpoint and road trip?
I think Oklahoma, if you look at who they've played the last 2 years, this is only year 2, right, for them coming in the league.
It's only
I think their schedule is way harder than Mississippi State's.
Yeah.
It can be it's very comparable, and I think Florida as well. So I would put Florida. I would go this way, no particular order: Florida, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Arkansas.
Well, last year, Oklahoma played at Auburn, at Ole Miss, at Missouri, and at LSU. Mississippi State, meanwhile, last year played at Texas, at Georgia, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss. That's harder. And
you got to remember, Oklahoma's not going to play at Texas.
True. That's right. But State had to. And Oklahoma only played, again, they played at Missouri. They played at LSU. But LSU was an average team last year. And speaking of freaking LSU, I'm watching that SEC thing on Netflix. I had to watch some of it. It was the LSU Tigers. Inside the LSU Tigers is what it was. They showed some. I couldn't watch it. After about 2 episodes, I turned it off. I just said, enough. This team sucked. This team was awful. And, when Jalen Milroe, who's still scoring touchdowns on him, scored his 8th touchdown against LSU, we had to go watch the sad people in Baton Rouge for half an hour. I couldn't take it, so I turned it off. So it's not that good, folks, unless you love LSU. And if you love LSU, you love an average team. So they couldn't beat USC last year in the first game. Everybody wants to go, slurp all over LSU for some reason. Tell me why that is, QB. Is it Happy Valley?
I think they're going to be pretty good this year, JC.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
I don't want them to be. I don't want them to be.
Well, they were 9-4 last year.
I think JC. By the way, speaking of LSU, I think Brian Kelly's on your same workout program you are. He's lost a lot of weight.
What gives it away? Yeah, he has. He really has.
He looks skinny.
He does. So I guess you saw some of this Netflix.
No. I saw a press conference when he was talking about Garrett Nussmeier didn't lose his leg.
Yeah, I tell you this. I've
not watched any of those shows on Netflix
Yeah.
Well, I don't have time.
You don't have time, QB. But
they do not have time.
Harold Perkins will be back for them. I don't know. Whit Weeks looked like a skinny slot receiver, and he plays linebacker for them. I don't know, dude. You can have LSU. You go ahead and bet on them.
I don't want them to be any good, but I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
Okay.
Rick from
they were 9-4. If you like that record, that's
I think
Alabama went 9-4 last year, and everybody's ready to jump off a roof.
Well, I think the Gators would take 9-4 or 9-3. Would you?
all
Yeah.
day, every day with that schedule.
Rick from Jupiter on the Titan Bar
Crazy.
text line says, QB, speaking of the NFL preseason, what do you think of them canceling a game due to injury? Feels like the NFL's gone a bit woke and now fully soft. I don't know. That was obviously, I don't know. What is the outcome of the kid from Detroit? I didn't see the
He's
game, but I
moving.
saw
He is moving, but it was a vicious, violent hit. These guys sign up for that QB, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't have a
I don't
problem
know.
with him.
Yeah, I don't either
They
because I
would have
don't think
played. They would have played the regular season game, but being a preseason
well,
game, nobody cares about preseason. Quite honestly,
just
I swear to you,
they
it
don't.
is try to get through the
Yes.
preseason. As I told you, there's only about 7 players on the entire teams that are trying to make the roster. They know
Yeah.
who's on the roster.
Yeah, it's these preseason and fall practices. Try to get through it. That's right. And I think we all remember what happened to that to that Buffalo Bills player, right? And there was no way those guys were going to continue playing that game. There was zero chance.
That was
He
bad.
died on the field, literally. And so I think what happens is when we see these kinds of tragic incidents where these players are just not responsive and whatnot, nobody's going to be in the appetite to go out there and play anymore because they care about their teammates. So I don't think it's you should never say, I mean, try going down there on that field and calling those players soft. See how far that gets you. I don't think that's right. I don't think anybody's soft. I think it's just people are a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more aware of the dangers of this game, which they sign up for. And I get it. But, man, that's a tough – I don't know if I could say that they're soft. I can't say that. I think that's being a little harsh.
Well, I could say it's not soft. Well, the game of football in the National Football League level,
Oh, my God.
it is. If you could ever get on field level, you'd be like, what the hell are these people thinking?
You got trained killers on defense. I mean, these people can kill you with their hands. And it's just it's nuts. The speed of that is crazy. Yeah.
Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, Eli going undercover as a FedEx delivery guy was priceless. That was the funniest. He's so damn funny.
He
I
does.
don't know if you saw it, JC.
I love Eli. I think I'm actually starting to like him more than Peyton, even though I love Peyton too. But Eli's just different in that funny kind of way. It's funny.
Andy also says the tale of 2 former Gator QBs on Saturday. Trask played well, Mertz not so much. I didn't see either one of them play. Look, like I've said a million times, I think both of them are going to be backups in the league. I don't think Trask will ever be a starter. He will be a backup. And there is not a damn thing wrong with that. JC, you have some stats for us today, right? Regarding the National Football League.
There is a thing I came across that just blew my mind. If you give me just about 10 seconds, I will pull it up. But it was the probabilities of playing in the NFL. If you just have a kid playing in high school and you have that dream, just know that the odds are definitely not with you. 6.5. Now this is coming from an MD, a doctor. His name is Jesse Morse. He says 6.5% of the over 1.1 million high school football players make it to the NCAA to play football. That could be any division. That equals 70,630. Only 1.6% of that 70,630 makes it to the NFL. That's 1,130. About 13% of those guys make it to year 4. That's 150. So 0.1% of the over 1.1 million high school football players make it past the 3rd year in the NFL. 0.1%. Dude, those odds, that's like scratch off. That's worse than scratch offs. And scratch offs are the worst thing that ever hit our grocery stores.
That's why these boys better get to them degrees.
Yeah, I mean, it's really that. It really truly is all about that. And you can have such a supreme talent playing in high school, and that's wonderful. And if he's lucky enough to get looked at and play in the NCAA, the odds still are so much against you making it to the NFL. Now, this is good for some of these kids because they're getting paid in college now. They might as well be pros, right? But really, it's spectacular to think of 0.1% make it past their 3rd year in the NFL. And 150 players, 13% make it to year 4. That's 0.1%, and only 1,100 out of that 1.1 million even make it to the NFL. 1,100 people. That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to play professional sports, and
Yeah, baseball. I don't think
that's
is much.
why a lot of people ask me, do you think he's going to play? Whether it's a Gator or whatever.
Right.
I don't break down his entire career, but my eyes can tell me immediately if the guy will play in the
Yeah.
league. Will he
Yeah.
be a backup in the league?
Yeah.
How long he will last? Uh, you know.
4 years, dude, is an eternity in the NFL. Think about that. And
Well, what people don't remember, what people forget is you don't hit your benefits and all that stuff. You don't get vested, is the word I was looking for, until 3 years, 3 games.
yeah.
The average career is about 2.7 years.
So
2.5,
that is so is that year four? 3 years and 3 games is year four?
No, no.
No. Oh, it's in the third year, third game of the third year.
Yeah, you could play. You
Okay.
could play three
So
years, but
three.
you got to
Well,
have 3 years and 3 games. I don't know
well,
why.
or no, you mean you have to be in your third year? Okay, so that means you have to make it to the third year. Is
Or
that
make
right?
it to your make it through the third. I think if you play in your third year and you get cut after game one, you're screwed.
Okay, so it's 3 years and then 3 games into the fourth year. Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean.
It doesn't really matter. Bottom line is
Well, it does.
if you make it to 4 years, you're lucky as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically.
That's
leave it at
extremely
that.
rare. Extremely rare. Extremely rare. It's crazy rare. Yeah, I think Major League Baseball is very similar to that. I would think because a lot of kids do make it to the minors. Not a lot, but that doesn't mean anything.
There's a ton of people. Think about all the different minor leagues they have.
Yeah, no. It's Major League Baseball's got.
But it's so hard to make it to the big leagues.
So hard.
So hard. So hard. So
And they've got fewer pros playing than the NFL does because those rosters are 23, 4 players. NFL has 53 something players.
53, and then their practice squads. They used to be like 6 on the practice
Yeah,
squad.
6 or
Now
7
there's
on
like
that.
18, I think.
Yeah, there's more. But Major League Baseball, man, geez. And then you can look at pro golf. These pro golfers, what are those odds? 100. So of the billions of people that play golf and the millions that play golf in America, you've got 125 of them that make unbelievable livings. True, but 125. That's it.
Yeah. Nat says Trask is going into his 5th year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trask will be a backup for 10 or 14 years.
Well,
Bullshit.
that's a formula that's worked for somebody I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Beat the system somehow. Try to figure out a way to beat the system.
Well, the good Lord was on your side. But you're right about the schooling part. And, when you read stories about Memphis University's basketball team getting the softball players to take their exams for you, it makes you think that they just never really are serious about anything other than trying to hoop. And that can get you in a little bit of trouble because getting to the league, the NBA, the association, that's not easy either. None of it is. That's why
Clarence on the Titan our text line says those stats are crazy.
Yeah.
Every sport needs to give these stats to little league parents.
Yes.
We need the major league version of that because everybody thinks that little Jimmy, who's on Travel Ball X at age 12, throwing gas, is going to be the next Nolan Ryan.
So let me give you 2 more aspects of those stats I gave you. When I said, 0.1% make it to year 4 in the NFL, that's 150 players. The minimum salary in the NFL in 2014 was $420,000. That was the minimum salary. You pay your taxes after that, and depending on where you live and make that salary, you're clearing about quarter of $250,000.
I've told people.
Is that worth your health? Is it really?
I've told people multiple times. Everybody thinks that if you play in the National Football League, you're making what Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and all these guys.
Not even close.
There's 53 guys that dress out. I would say 10 of them are making well over $1 million.
Right.
The other 40 players are making minimum salary.
Yeah.
Again, which is great money.
It is.
It's great money.
But remember,
it's not what people think.
That's your gross. And then you've got deductions for all these other things and benefits that come into play. That was the 2014 minimum salary. I'm sure, and I know it's up from there, but the taxes are as well in many places. Try play for the Rams and then say to yourself, okay, I play for the Rams, but when I'm playing when my team plays in Tampa, I'm going to make more money for the Rams, playing with the Rams, playing in Tampa than I would a home game.
Yeah. And you got to pay taxes in every city and every state.
And in Tampa, you don't have state and local.
When you go out of town and play, you do.
Yeah, right. Well, Sure, you do. But if you play
You're
for
an
the Rams,
entertainer, JC. You're an entertainer.
so if you play for the Rams, Bears, Chargers, 49ers, um, Bills, Jets, Giants, you are at a disadvantage financially if you're earning the same type of money than if you were to play for the Dolphins, Bucks, Jags, Texans, Cowboys, and Cardinals. You get the point. So that's I don't know if that's a thing for players. I think it is when they're trying to relocate or change teams. It might be a thing, but it's definitely real.
It is.
I know it is in hockey.
When you're a star. When you're a guy who's a free agent sitting on the street, you don't give a damn who signs you.
True, you want a job.
You don't care if you have to go to Mexico and play.
Get it. Yeah, you want a job. But if you're an established player, and this is what's happening in hockey, I'm telling you, dude, there's a reason why the Canadian teams don't win Stanley Cups. And Edmonton's been the best Canadian team in 30 years. They don't win Stanley Cups because those players don't want to play in that country. They don't want to do it. They're giving away 50% of what they earn. Screw that. Screw Canada in taxes. Who the hell wants to?
All right, we got a lot of people chiming in on YouTube.
Chime in, baby. Chime in. Let's chime in.
Referring to the head ball coach. He did something with Eli. I don't know what it was. I didn't see it.
Head ball coach.
But where did it go? Oh, so Barone 71 says, I like how the HBC broke it down to Eli, how the fun and guns philosophy is. Quote, if they load the box, throw it. If they don't, run it.
Yeah.
If they are playing deep, throw under. If they're up, throw over.
Yes.
That is it. His thing is throw it where they aim.
Yeah. Well, that's you can say there's a simple genius.
Hey, JC, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen those hats and those T-shirts that say run the damn ball.
Yes.
You ever seen those?
Yeah.
I'm getting me one that says throw the damn ball.
Think about these days when Georgia and Florida was playing in the 80s and so forth, and they ran the ball 85% of the time, and those defenses had 8 guys playing up front. It made you wonder, do these coaches really think they're just going to out-hit you and win that line of scrimmage and get those 4 yards over and over again? That's how football was played back then before Steven Spurrier showed up here in Gainesville. Now, he did it at Duke. They had never seen anything like that. But when you think about it, it went on forever. That, 70s and 80s football was just, watching Florida and Auburn play was like, it was like mowing Payne's Prairie. It was awful to watch. When Gary Darnell and Whitey Jordan were running the Florida Gators and Pac Dye and Auburn was sitting over there and you were thinking to yourself, man, this is some boring shit. It's 10-6 in the fourth quarter and I want to kill myself. But you had to stay there. You had to go through it. And Vince Dooley and the Gators against Doug Dickey and Charlie Pell, Vince Dooley for the Georgia Bulldogs would go this way, and then he would run it that way. And not until 34 showed up did Vince Dooley really have anything that was anything special. It really wasn't. He didn't win anything until Herschel showed up. And Herschel was just one of those rare, once-in-a-lifetime players. He was the best college football player I ever saw, him and Bo Jackson. But Bo wasn't as tough as Herschel. Herschel was tough.
Kevin says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, the HBC is so intellectually superior to any coach offensively. He's able to see what others miss, which is often simple.
Yeah.
That right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
People, I want people to go read that themselves because that's why when people talk about play calling this, that, and the other. Yes. You can't just go, hey, call up somebody that you think can come run an offense, right? Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm trying to say is great play callers are like great players. They don't just come around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I honestly, in my opinion, there's only 3 great play callers in college football in today's world.
Today, go ahead and tell me the 3.
See if you can guess my 3.
I'm going to say the first one you've got is the guy at USC.
He would be maybe my top 5, but he's not.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
He's not one of my top 3.
Okay, then I'm going to go with, I think Lane Kiffin is one of them.
Lane's one of them.
Lane is one of them. Okay. Steve Sarkisian.
He's one of them.
Okay. And if you give me a little bit more time, which I don't have, I'd get the other one, but go ahead and tell me.
He's an ACC coach.
Okay, so that would be what the hell's
Jeff
wrong?
Brom.
Oh yeah, of Louisville. So I mean, yeah, you can throw him in there, but that's fine. The way it works. Okay, you're an offensive guy. I'll tell you, in the NFL, there's the same number. I think Sean McVay I think
There's so many good ones there.
Well, there are, but head coaches, not the assistants.
Yeah, Sean McVay, Andy Reid.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Zach Taylor at Cincinnati's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have the list of the head coaches that call plays in front of me.
But Kyle Shanahan,
outstanding.
Kyle Shanahan. So, I mean, these guys that made livelihoods doing this and becoming head coaches. Everyone you just named was an assistant coach. And
Right.
Ben Johnson now in Chicago was an assistant coach, made the Lions.
Well, you have to become an assistant at some point.
Sure, to be a head
coach.
Right. True. Okay. But they made their they made their hay calling.
Well, you know what's crazy is?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think out of all. I'm going to the college ones that I picked. They all play quarterback.
Yeah. Well, doesn't that make sense to you? Makes sense to me. Makes sense.
All right, JC. We're going to go talk about the mighty Gator scrimmage.
Okay. Well, yeah, and again, real quick before I leave, Sark having his career resurrected was the greatest thing that has ever happened to Texas.
Well,
other than Darrell Royal.
We'll talk about this on Wednesday. Do your homework on Wednesday.
Okay.
The rehab place in Tuscaloosa under one of the greatest of all time. Not only did it for Texas, but he did it for Ole Miss as well.
He did it for playing.
That's JC joins us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We'll take a quick time out, come back. We'll be joined by Florida Gator senior writer Scott Carter. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the morning from the
Wednesday
Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Meals Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Linderos tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean head beer coach, 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Linderos tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Linderos tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go.
Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by a UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, and coming soon to Jonesville. That's Gallo Car Wash. Let's go back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by Scott Carter, who is a senior writer for FloridaGators.com. Good morning, Scott. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, Shane. What's going on, man? I feel senior on Monday mornings for sure. A lot of
There's
times.
no doubt. Real quick, before we jump into the Gators, Greg's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. JC and I were talking about NFL, how hard it is to make it, how much money you can make and not make. But yes, you have to pay taxes. So you're considered like an entertainer, like a country music singer, for example. If you play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you fly and you play the San Francisco 49ers, you're going to pay for that game check. They're taking out California taxes, city taxes, county taxes when you go on the road. So there, I'll answer your question. All right, Scott, speaking of football, Mighty Gators lighted up in the swamp on Saturday.
Yeah, they had their first scrimmage of camp, and I've always thought the first scrimmage of camp, that's kind of like the signal point for me, where you start to learn a little bit more about position battles and competition. And I know for the coaches, it's a little bit of an opportunity for them to, test the guys physically. They get out there at noon on a hot and sweaty Saturday. So they got some work out there. And, I think at this point, Shane, it's, everybody's keeping an eye on who's not participating or some of the best position battles. I think, if you've seen the reports over the weekend that came out, there was about, looked like to me, I went down to the field, there was about 250, 300 family members there in the stands in the shade. So it always gets out that, DJ was still, not participating fully. He was doing his mental reps on the field. And I think that was the big note I saw from a couple of the practice reports. Otherwise, nothing really. I don't think it's emerged out. The second scrimmage is this week, and I think that's going to give us a better idea of where the team stands before the opener. So I'm ready to see that one.
Text here on the Titan More text line from Jimmy. He says, Scott, from the scrimmage, did anyone stand out to you?
Well, just in my time there, it is not anything groundbreaking. If I say Jaden Ball, but I did see Jaden Ball make
He's pretty good, by the way, Scott. I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, I keep seeing Jaden Ball making some runs, and I'm like, wow, this guy, he got a little Fred Taylor in him, and just a tough big back. And I think with him and Jacoby Jackson back there, that's a heck of a tandem. But I really like the way I see him growing and developing, because we all know what a really big time back can do to help a young quarterback like Lagway. So you've got that as an option. That's only going to make DJ better when he's fully back. But the guy who I've mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned on this show, I've written about it, but Tavoris Brown up front, the defensive lineman who transferred in last year. This guy, he looks to me like he's going to be a good player. He's got the size, he's got the burst. He's obviously physically strong to play the interior line. Just a guy who every time I'm out at practice, poke my head in there, or on Saturday, he just catches my attention. So those are a couple guys, offense and defense, who I continue to keep an eye on.
Defensively, I should know this as the color comment or the color analyst, but I don't have my sheet in front of me. I get these two guys mixed up.
All right.
Aaron Gates and Aaron Childs.
Yeah.
Am I the only guy that gets them mixed up?
I've actually done that as I'm writing once in a while. Gates, Childs, I'll go back and change it when I get them.
Which one had the knee surgery?
Gates had the knee surgery, and he's one of the better stories of camp so far in that he's back out there fully participating. And we all saw his talent last year. To me, he was one of the guys on defense who was pretty good the whole year. I mean, the defense got a lot better in the second half of the year, but Gates was making plays early in the year when they weren't exactly doing it as a unit. And I just think he's continued to get better coming off that knee injury. And we'll see how it looks in the real setting when they start games because practice and camp's a lot different than games. But he has been a guy who stood out. If nothing more, just it's amazing how much quicker these guys can get back from knee injuries than compared to the past. You got to give him a lot of credit to put in the work and get out there. And then you mentioned Aaron Childs, Miles Graham. Those guys are players. Childs, he looked pretty good out there on Saturday from what I remember, and I just think he's one of the young players that they're building this defense around. And it was big get when they got him and Graham, and he looks like a Gator from past days to me.
Andy's question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Scott, what are the chances Tramel Jones takes more snaps than Aiden Warner or Harrison Bailey this year?
I mean, it would probably depend on what kind of offense that they were running. I know Tramel's getting a lot of love on the message boards lately. To me, he's a good-looking young quarterback, but I don't, to my knowledge, he's not jumped over the other guys or anything. Maybe him and Warner having a nice little battle there at 3 behind Bailey at second. But I think he threw a touchdown, if I recall, the other day to Peterson, maybe. He's got a nice little arm, got some zip on the ball. But I think what we're seeing here, Shane, to me, and maybe he'll prove me wrong, it's like the next thing is the best thing. That's kind of what the buzz is around Tramel. I think he's just a good-looking young quarterback who has some work to do. But, who knows? Maybe he will jump those other guys. But as far as right now, I don't know of any plans to, get him into the offense unless he was forced into it with the injury like last year.
Yeah. Greg on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel says QB, they were praising Harbaugh's QB knowledge in the Chargers preseason game. I laugh because I remember your story about him with the Bears. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, and I talked with Kerwin all this because Kerwin was with Jim one year in Indianapolis, and he and I experienced the same thing with Jim. But Jim's been a phenomenal coach. He's won everywhere he's been. He's got good staff around him. But I've never, and he never knew what to do as the quarterback or read coverages or anything. It was shocking to me. But anyway, he's done a great job. Baron 71 on YouTube brought to you by Quality Plum says, barring a Lagway injury, well, he's already hurt. Hopefully not too bad. It would be irresponsible of Florida not to redshirt Tramel Jones. His eligibility is more important from 26-29 than in 2025. I think in today's world, Scott, redshirting, I don't even think people talk about redshirting anymore because if a kid doesn't play at all, there's a very good chance that he's going to try to go into the portal the next year.
Yeah, I mean that is a new dynamic in the roster building and the roster maintenance. Tramel Jones, you see him, and if he's getting some pub in camp, he's got some talent if he's doing that at Florida. So what does that mean if he does not get a chance here? Yeah, he'll go into the portal. That's what I would expect, unless he's one of the rare guys, and you hope they still exist where they really want to be at one school, and that's their passion, and he works his way up to his opportunity. So I don't know enough about him or his story or what he's thinking at this point. To me, again, he's a good-looking, nice young quarterback to have. And obviously Harrison Bailey's not going to be around but at 1 year. And then you got Aiden Warner. We'll see what his career progresses. But certainly they didn't bring Tramel Jones in for him not to play. So
right, and they got the kid from Tampa. Was it Will? What's the quarterback committed from Jesuit coming in next year? I can't. Will something.
You got me on because I don't do recruiting that much.
I just so I don't think people worry about burning red shirts if that's what we're talking about here in
Yeah,
today's world. They're not
I
worried about
think you're I think you're right there.
Yeah. Scott, somebody, I can't remember who wanted to know if we had to play today, who do you think would be our punt returner and kickoff returners?
Uh, Kickoff return. I mean, I know Ball's been back there. Vernell Brown the third's been back there. I would say him and Nashawn Montgomery. But you got to remember, I know they've been working the last week or so without some of their, Trey Wilson's. I think's been sidelined. Dallas Wilson's obviously been sidelined. Aiden Mizell has been sidelined. So if you started today, I'm probably leaning toward one of those young receivers, Montgomery, Vernell Brown, Tank Hawkins, maybe a punt. Obviously, I mentioned Ball, who he's worked back there at times during camp. So those are some of the skill position guys who I would think would be in the running until they get their full group back. But that's just where they are now.
Will Griffin is the quarterback. Thank you guys for letting us know that. Um, I think the punt returner, again, it's still early in camp. I don't care who the kick returner is. Kickoff return is totally different than punt return. Punt return, you got to have somebody you trust to make good decisions and catch the damn ball. Um, I think Vernell Brown might be that guy. Uh, Jim DK was phenomenal last year doing it.
Yeah, he really was.
Made
And
tremendous
Vernell,
decisions and
yeah,
protected.
Vernell Brown, I think he's got some of the same skill set as DK. Just his football IQ is obviously very high from having grown up around the game. He's seen what it looks like at this level. He's been up close with his dad. Obviously, we all know that story. So I do see him playing a role as a freshman on special teams in some way.
Text here on the Titan Mark text line from Lou. He wants to know, did anyone in the secondary impress you during the scrimmage?
You know, I mean, I continue to watch those young corners. Obviously, Cormani McLean, everybody really, he might be the superstar in camp according to fans. He does look better. I mean, he's obviously put on some muscle. I think he's a guy that I'm just intrigued to watch play more this year. And with Dejon Johnson kind of been sidelined a little bit lately, I think Cormani's getting more opportunity. Uh, I don't, nobody, I don't remember any flash plays, and I'm not out there grading everything like a coach. I just kind of casually come and check out. I was talking to some people that haven't seen it while they're discouraged, but I did watch Cormani McLean some, and I do think he looks to me like a very improved physical specimen. I think we all know he's got the talent. The thing with him has always been, would he be able to kind of use the resources that they've given up Florida and maybe get things in order, his priorities in order that maybe didn't work out at Colorado, whatever the issue was. And so far, so good from what I see and hear there. So that's good news for the Gators.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny to me how I get on Twitter every now and then, Scott, just to see
Yeah.
what's going on because all those beat writers, they're posting stuff after practice and they'll post a few, their 10-minute viewing period or whatever, a pass. It's so funny to read people's comments. They're bashing the DBs. And I try to tell people, well, I don't tell them because I don't respond, but one-on-ones against air, the defensive player is against all odds, right?
Yeah.
He has no
Yeah.
pass rush and he has the whole field to cover. It's just, and everybody's like, well, our DBs suck. Oh, I'm like, come on, people.
Yeah.
It's
As
hard.
I've done this so long, Shane, I've been around it so long that and I understand fans, they're excited. And I understand the guys who are out there doing those reports. I've been in that situation before. And, you're trying to serve your audience and you're trying to give them something. And so sometimes I think, the expectations get blown out of proportion or the significance of something at practice like 7-on-7s gets blown out of proportion all the time. So that's why I kind of try to keep it even killed through camp. And you just don't know until you see it, man. Like if you told me last year watching the Gators early in the season during basketball season, this was a national championship team, I probably would have looked at that as skepticism. That's just me, I guess. But I get it. I get it. I get it. So I love the passion, and you just have to kind of put everything in perspective a little
Yeah.
bit. That's hard to do on Twitter sometimes.
But then if the DB makes a play and knocks the ball down, the same fans like quarterback's got to get it out there. Maybe the defensive back made a good
Yeah, I
play.
mean that's the thing about sports. Every play, every time your player A is trying to do something good, there's player B trying to not make it happen. So that's just sports. Sometimes you win on both sides. But I just know that and this is my big picture view on the Gators right now. I was standing down on the field the other day, and I was only down there because I wanted to get a sense of was this team really more physically gifted than than recent years. And I was looking around, all these guys are just bigger and stronger. So it does, without question, it's a better roster. So I'm as excited as anybody else out there. But I gotta, we'll see it on what, 3 weeks from Saturday or 2 weeks from this Saturday. So, but I like what they have on the roster.
Yeah, it's so hard nowadays in scrimmages like that to see like what kind of physicality you can bring because I didn't go to the scrimmage, but the ones I remember I went to last year, they're wearing that guardian cap on their helmet. So you never really hear like tackling like
Yeah.
you do it like in live action when they're not wearing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
a weird, you'll see this huge collision and there's like no noise.
Yeah, the physical element certainly during camp has been reduced in the last, 10 or 15 years, mostly for player safety, which I understand that. So you don't get some of that you remember back in the day, man. I mean, there'd be some real scraps during practice or scrimmage, and it was just a different game back then.
Yeah. Scott, you got any good stuff you're writing?
I'm getting geared up toward camp. I did my first interview the other day. This is off the beaten path, but I did my first interview the other day with the Secretary of State. Talked to Marco Rubio about his son and his interest in the Gators and how all that came to be, and talked to Billy and Anthony about it, a couple of teammates. Rubio has got a reputation inside the building. He's like this superstar scout team player. They love that guy.
Well,
And
you
it's
saw that last year when he scored the touchdown against Tulane. The whole damn
yeah,
beach ran
yeah.
down there.
So it was interesting talking to his dad, which I did not know that he actually played football back in his day, and now he's Secretary of State. So I'm going to do that story just kind of off the beaten path, and then get back to the
Speaking of that, I've always wanted to know this, and I may have asked you this not on the show, but does Anthony's the name, his kid's name, correct?
Anthony Rubio. Yep.
Did they have to do anything special for him on campus where he lives, or
Not to my knowledge. I mean,
okay?
he's just another college kid, and it's sometimes I actually ask Caleb Bates just to kind of one of those open-ended questions. They're like, "Hey, Caleb, with Anthony's dad and everything being such a public figure, how's Anthony handle all that?" And Caleb's like, "What do you mean? These kids, I guarantee you he's not the only one on the
Yeah, he
roster
had no
who's giving
idea.
you that answer. It's just they're focused on what they do, man." And they probably don't know. A lot of guys probably don't know his background. So, most fans do, but a lot of guys, they're in a different world. Like you were ashamed back in your day. Were you paying attention to politics when you were a starting quarterback that much?
No, hell no, no chance.
Yeah.
Scott, appreciate your time as always, and I'm sure people will be anxious to read that story. When's it going to hit the website?
Hopefully later today or in the morning. Just depends on
Okay.
how much I can get done today.
Good stuff. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
See you guys.
That's Scott Carter, senior writer for FloridaGators.com. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, or minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Check them out, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Appreciate JC and Scott for joining the program. Appreciate all you folks. Again, tonight, the 4th-year anniversary of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I think they still have a few tickets available. Come see the head ball coach. Get you some good food and drinks and what have you. I think a lot of the proceeds are going to the Ronald McDonald House and for a great cause. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.